Game on! Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I am so excited to have on again a 44-year-old from Cardiff, Wales. He is South Wales' favorite Canadian. He is a chocolate thrower, a Devils super fan, a multiple Two Ales and Hockey Tales jersey owner, a music star, a songwriter, a Chippy Lane enthusiast, and is now becoming a TikTok sensation. Welcome back on, Matt Lease.
Thank you so much for having me, Wally. What a pleasure. And yeah, it's been a blast getting to fall in love with the Devils over the last few years and all everything that it's brought to my life. I'm not even on the ice. So it's unreal. I'm really grateful for the whole community that I'm part of. And yeah, no one else was doing the TikTok thing specifically about the Devils. And I was like, well, I can do that. And
I
I've
don't know.
noticed
I don't know anything about TikTok. I won't do it. I see my children watch all these stupid videos on there nonstop, and it drives me crazy. And the people that they're watching and listening, just don't seem like my cup of tea. So I am not joining TikTok. And if you want to be my TikTok guy and do whatever you want on TikTok for Two L's and Hockey Tales, you feel free because I'm not up for it.
sounds good to me, man. I don't know what I'm doing either. What I do know is that I try to share on TikTok things like, "Hey, here's some music I made. Here's a pumpkin pie I made." Nobody cares. The couple of little dribble hits, right? But then you do Devil's content and it's like exponentially more people listen to it. So there's obviously a love for it. There's obviously an audience for it. And I like doing it. And Franny told me I'm his favorite TikToker.
Well, that's big news.
You know what I mean?
He's a Devils legend, but I've seen some of your videos that you put on there. You did one after the testimonial that was, I mean, it's really neat. I don't know how much time it takes you to do that, but you had highlights of the game. You
Mhm.
you even had me beating up Hendo, and you said I had muffin mitts, which everyone knows is untrue.
You're right.
Um, you know,
You're right.
beat Hendo up with 9 fingers. I didn't even need the one; it was
That's
broken.
right. That's right. And the video also includes, of course, the savage attack on you by now former, it still hurts to say it,
I know,
former devil. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to do it. The testimony was unreal, you know,
wasn't it?
it was so much fun. I can't like I say, I'm not even on the ice. We're not even part of it, and we had so much fun up in the stands. It was infectious. You could see how happy everybody was to be on the ice.
Well, it's more not being on the ice. I don't know how happy I was to be on the ice. It was seeing everybody, getting
Yeah.
to go back to a life that, well, it's over now. But when you get to go back for a weekend and see all those beauties, and well, yeah, I guess we did go out and muck it up. But it was a
Mhm.
lot more than just the hockey game that weekend's about, you know?
Yeah, it was a great weekend for us too. And I told you this at the time, so obviously everybody's now arrived in Cardiff, and the wife and my mammy and I are all going to a concert to see Snow Patrol in Cardiff Castle, right? And on the way in, as Rachel and I often do on the weekends, we stop into Temple Bar in Cardiff, right by the castle, right? We order our drinks, we go to sit down, and I needed to point out that at this point I'm wearing a Devils hoodie, okay?
Hmm.
So fanboy is already at like 5%, okay? So now we sit at this table for beers, and I hear Canadian accents. There's no question when you hear those voices in the middle of nowhere. I hear Kelman, I hear other voices, and my first thought is, oh no, they're gonna think we followed them here. We have to get out of here. They're gonna think, and we didn't. It was hand on heart. We just accidentally happened upon you, but we were like, we got it. We need to. So I've never finished a pint quicker in my life, and just tried to get out because we didn't want it to, like I say, feel stalkery. Which of course it wasn't, but it was also that it was about the boys and Joey. It wasn't about a couple of us that happened to stop by. I knew
Yeah,
we get to say hello to yourself over the weekend.
and
Um,
we did.
but
Um,
I sat there and I peeled this hoodie off of myself, Wally. I was like taking the hoodie off and just tucked it under
You
the
were worried
seat.
about being a super fan
I
because
well,
I think you are one, so you can
well,
just embrace it, man.
I'm certainly a Devils super fan, but I'm also at enough stuff where some of the players will actually recognize me. They know roughly who I am. You and I have broken bread together, so I didn't want it to be like he's gonna think we followed him here. So we got out of there. Got out of there and just left it for the rest of the weekend. But it was yeah, it was rough. And at one point, Calvin came to the bar to order, and all three of us were like turning in our seat, like
You didn't have to
so.
do that. Don't be all weird on us, man.
I know, but it was like I say, it wasn't about us. It was about you guys seeing your friends. Some of you guys hadn't seen each other for many, many years.
Oh
So I
yeah.
thought, you know what? I mean, by the way, if there wasn't a game or there wasn't an entire weekend planned, you want to bet your ass I would have turned around the corner and said hello. But no, we just got out of there, and that led to an amazing weekend of hockey. But that's
Well,
the
I
night
had a
you.
weird
That's the night.
one walking out of that bar. He
Hmm.
wasn't as shy as you, but I had just done a raffle to raise money for
Hmm.
someone's wife. And we had just raffled a Bouncy jersey off before I got there. And I'm walking, we left that bar to go to the next spot. Um, and I'm walking down Main Street, Cardiff, and a guy says, "Hey, Wally." And I'm like, "Hey." And I had no idea who he was, but he was the guy that won the Bounce jersey. And he's like, "Oh, I won your raffle." And I was like, "Oh, I have the jersey with me. I'll see you at the game." And
Yeah.
then I ended up getting it to him. But yeah, it's weird when you run into people when you're in a different country and they know your name.
Yeah, yeah, that's got to be weird. It's happened like once or twice in Cardiff for me, and it's still weird. We're at a concert and there's like people across the thing, and I see them look at me and go, "That's Matt Lees," and I was like, "Oh no." Immediately, I'm like, "Oh no, who's this guy? What did I do?" He just came up. He's like, "I'll follow your TikTok," and I was like, "Oh right, oh that's pretty cool."
Oh, so you
A
got followers and everything. The one that
little bit.
sticks out to me though was I hadn't been in Cardiff in
Hmm.
years, and I went back for Matthew Meyer's testimonial. Stayed at his house the Thursday night on the other side of town, not nowhere near the arena. And we went to the grocery store to pick some things up. I just arrived, got out of the car, and as soon as I stepped out of the car, someone says, "Hey, Wally." Ed Mizey was like, "Oh my God, you've been here 5 minutes," and
I
people
know. Yeah. Well, you mean you're Devil's Ledge?
not.
People
I
don't
don't understand how
forget
that's
that.
possible. I only played one and a bit years.
Yeah, yeah, but you lifted some silverware.
Mm,
You know what I
that is
mean?
fun. Yeah.
So
I
I
don't
mean
know
that
if you
makes you a
see here at
legend.
the farm where I'm going to talk to all my farm animals like yourself. I do have my All Ontario trophy still. I have to give it back soon, but got that up on the shelf. And
Yeah,
yeah, poor coaching. Still haven't had a year-end party after winning it. Lot
that's rough. You
going
got to try
on.
harder.
I
Got
know,
to try
got to be
harder.
better. It's just
You know.
unacceptable. Like my son's new team for next season just had a beach party, and last season's All Ontario still hasn't had a party. That makes no sense in the
I don't know
hockey
what
world.
I thought you were better than that, Wally.
I thought so too.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
that's all
Missing
right.
the year before I was a co-coach, and my other coach, Jared Adams, that's been on. He hosted an epic All Ontario Championship party and had the backyard to do so. A pool, games, barbecue, everything you'd
Hmm.
want in a
Yeah.
team party. And then this year, when I was the head coach, we still haven't had a party, and
Hmm.
that's not good for a coach's resume that you win the championship and don't host a party. So I
I
got to be
mean,
better.
it's important that you know that already, and nobody has to tell you that, right? It's
Well,
you're
yeah,
halfway
you
there
got to be
already.
self-aware. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, on the other side of should work harder. What's up with with the theme tune, man?
I,
I
uh,
I am the singer of the most elusive theme song ever.
it's incredible because it's a catchy song. It hits home. It has all the things: chocolate throwing, Sunder Yuski, Kincardine, winning is fun, kids.
Hmm.
I figured out how to get it on, and then it would take quite a bit longer to get it on, and
Hmm.
then I didn't have a lot of time in the days, especially when I'm working. I do this on lunch, and I know people are waiting for it. So sometimes I just send it and like, oh, I'll add the song later when I have time. And then I realized I never did have time. And a bunch of episodes have gone by that I haven't still figured out how to get that back on there. But I appreciate the song more than you know, and I need to figure out how to get that back on. Maybe today's the day I can find time to do that because it would be weird
Mm.
for you to come on without your song.
Well, we as a team should have played better and should have prepped, and I could have just done it.
Right. Played it on
Uh,
here.
yeah, yeah. But there's no way I remember the lyrics, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of
Yeah,
those things.
I know, and I feel bad that I haven't been putting it on every episode because
Well,
it's quite catchy.
it's all right. It's okay. It's no problem. It's no harm. You know what I mean? It's just I was just wanted to poke a little
Yeah.
fun.
No,
It
it's
happens.
it's all good. But well, I haven't got it on all the episodes, but I feel like I tried to repay you by breaking bread with you and feeding you dinner.
Oh, we had an amazing time, and of course, I wouldn't trade that for anything. Even though you tried to kill me on a golf cart, but no, we had
Uh,
a
did I
wonderful
try to
evening.
kill you or did I try to keep you safe when the lights weren't working?
That's true. I mean, depends on which way you want to look at it, I suppose, isn't it? You kept us safe. We all got home uh, safely, and we had an amazing night. It was fun, great times.
What did I cook
Uh,
you? Do you remember?
I remember it was delicious. So it was definitely like a schnitzel of some sort, right?
Right.
Uh,
With
and then it,
Spätzle, with the German noodles?
yeah, that's right. I was gonna say it was like almost like a gnocchi or something, close to that sort of thing. It was
Right. Yeah, it was
very
German noodle,
delicious.
the Spätzle. They love it over
Very,
there. Very
yeah,
versatile noodle. You can
yeah,
melt cheese on it. You can put gravy on it. You can have
yeah,
bacon and cheese with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
I know a
It
lot
was
about food after traveling, you know?
it was very very delicious. And then yeah, we drove around in the dark. We should have filmed it. It would make a heck of a YouTube video. Uh,
Sometimes I don't like people knowing what I get up to.
yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's all in the past, and we could say it's all allegedly, right? This is all an alleged story. We made that up just for the podcast.
Well, let's just say that,
Mhm.
well, you made me a song, and you were raised in Kitchener by my old stomping grounds, Elmira, what, high school time, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Now you're a Devils super fan. It's a small world, but you came back to visit some family and friends, and then
That's
you
right.
made the hike all the way to Kincardine to meet
That's
me
right.
and have dinner. And I thought I'd bring my A game with dinner. I tried my best, and then I thought I'd
Delicious.
show you the neighborhood on the golf cart. And
It was great.
things just, things happen when you take the golf cart. Then the sun sets, and you
Yeah,
realize the lights don't work, and maybe then it's
that's right.
not that safe.
Yeah, but we had a great time. I mean, again, I wouldn't change any of it. We had a blast. Um, and if if it were to happen again, and even though I've told the story, and if you said let's get on this card again, you think I'd say no? Absolutely not.
No,
Like
you're
I'm
gonna
with you.
be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do
Hmm.
it. And so it was a cool time. Yeah, I grew up very close to there. It is a small world.
It really
Kitchener was
is.
our stomping ground. The Rangers were the team we'd go and watch. I used to work for local radio stations, and I got to drive on the ice when they used to do the Air the Bear. I don't remember us calling it that back then though, but back then you couldn't do it these days probably with health and safety. I remember we used to just drive the station car around in circles on the ice with the trunk up and all the doors open, and people would just huck these teddy bears at you.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm sure they wouldn't be allowed to do that anymore, but that was always a blast doing that at the Kitchener Auditorium and getting to sneak into different events and things like that. So it was fun.
I grew up going to the Kitchener Ranger games and the Guelph Storm games, and
hmm
yeah, they were both good teams growing up and fun to watch.
hmm
But your mom was at the testimonial, and she had her Kitchener Ranger jersey with her, right? And I met her
That's
there.
right. Yeah, that's right. We still have like friends and family back home, and yeah, they sent her over a Kitchener Rangers jersey. I think she
Hmm.
was getting jealous of everybody wearing all these great jerseys at the games, even though she has multiple Devils jerseys that say "Mammy" on the back. So
Well,
yeah,
you
she
have
gets
you
that
have
too.
two Ales and Hockey Tales jerseys. That's pretty cool too. There's not many
Oh
people out there in the world with those.
no, I mean everybody can win a shirt off his back, right? Everyone can sponsor a jersey for the season. Not everybody can get a two Wales jersey. I
No,
got two of them.
they're yeah. You got to win those suckers, right?
That's right. That's right.
I
And
should
this
probably
year
do
when
another raffle soon and raise money for somebody or something again because it's fun.
yeah, it is. It's Yeah, and of course the golf tournament. Congratulations, like 5 Gs, right?
Yeah,
Five
yeah,
Gs. That's so much. That's a great thing that you did, especially considering that obviously you had to do all the work to go into it, but ultimately you got to play golf with some friends, family, and buddies, and raised 5 grand for a local hospital.
yeah. No, it was well, it was a lot of work to organize, and then the golf course is so busy that they said, well, if you want to shut down the whole course and have a shotgun, you need to have at least 112 golfers. I had no idea if I could do that, and you write down a bit of a list of who you think the for sures are. And then they say you can only have it in May. Well, my goodness, do a lot of
Mhm.
guys my age have kids in spring hockey, lacrosse,
Yeah,
baseball, soccer, and then all these guys I thought were for sures weren't coming. And somehow we still greased it out to have exactly 112 golfers and make it happen. And what was neat was when a friend of mine gave me the idea, like, well, why don't you raise the money for the hospital? Because when I bring up the golf tournament, people are like, what are you raising money for? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just trying to have fun.
Mm.
Then when we said we were doing it for the hospital, the place I work at, Superheat, donated money. The Power Workers Union donated money, quite a bit actually, and so did another one, Leuna something or other union. Mike Rock, shout out to him.
Mm.
He was the one that set it up, but people just started reaching out to me. Steve Piper was the other guy, and they said, "I see you're raising money for the hospital. We'll jump in." And then that all of a sudden we raised $5,000 and got to take a picture when um, I just called him. I'm like, "How do I send you guys $5,000?" And he's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Well, I had a golf tournament." He's like, "Do you think you could tell us you're doing this next time?" And I'm like, I was just doing it. I was just having fun. And then
Yeah.
he asked me to come for a presentation. We got a picture together. And I mean, it was neat that that worked out. But all I was trying to do was have a reason to see all my hockey buddies and hockey family and real family and friends from this
Mhm.
area. And what a fun day it was.
Yeah.
And it was all worth the effort.
It's nice to be nice, and winning is fun.
Right.
You know.
And what's neat around this area in small town rural Ontario is Kincardine does this, and Ripley, who like Ripley, I have a lot of ties to with Ripley Wolves. My kids go to school there, but then Kincardine does it too. Every 10 years, they have a thing called the Old Boys Reunion. And anybody that has ties to that town and makes the effort to come back, they have basically a party that goes from Thursday till Monday, and there's concerts and dances every night. We had a Ripley Wolves ball hockey tournament with kids, with all the alumni players. Events go on the whole weekend, and everybody that's from there or has ties to there come back. And it was so neat, and it made me realize that Elmira should have something like that, so then I wouldn't have to host a golf tournament to see my friends.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh, I can remember years ago when we did the toy drive and we dropped a bunch of toys at the hospital, and it was similar. Like I was just like, "Hey, how do I give you guys some toys?" And this lady was said, "Oh, I can come on and help you with it if you want." And I was like, "You got some people with you?" And she was expecting, I think, just the back seat, but our car was like rammed to the ceiling with toys and everything. And she came out, and I remember her looking at it, being like, "I'm gonna need like some carts." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you got to play harder." But that was just, it's fun when you see them surprised by this kind thing that you did, and they're like, "Holy crap, you guys got all these toys donated?" And we're like, "Yeah." Just like the dude was like, "You guys raised $5,000 playing golf?"
Yeah, I,
Yeah,
I thought
man.
it was funny that I never told them anything about it. And I was just like, "Hey,
Yeah,
how do
just
I
turned up.
donate
Yeah,
this money?"
yeah, yeah. It's I guess it's better than it's better than some other calls they could get when you're like, "Hey, you guys want $5,000?"
Right.
Pardon? Yeah, well, okay, we'll take
Um,
that.
so, well, let's get into some hockey stuff since that's why people
Okay,
listen to this stuff.
that's
How do you
true.
feel about the Devils' new roster? Because I find it interesting so far, being out of it now for like a decade, is we have our core. They're the guys that invite me to testimonials,
Yeah,
and they're there every year, and we're going to miss Batchy next season. But then
big
we
time.
sprinkle in all these other guys that we think are going to be the new core guys. But it
Mm.
seems that it's the same guys coming in and out, and it's the same guys staying there being the core. So how do you feel about the new guys?
Well, it's you always have to give them once they become a devil, you got to give them that clean slate and say, okay, they're one of us now. I was surprised by some of the players that left, but also we want to win. We want to win lots of things. So sometimes there's got to be a changeover in the roster, right? So I'm excited to see the new lineup. It looks like we've got some more aggression. I think we're going to spend a lot of time in the penalty box, but I like that part of hockey, that rough and tumble, sit down for 2 minutes part of it, because I don't have to get punched in the face, obviously. But I'm looking forward to that part of the game. I think it's important that we're keeping the core, but I'm worried about the core because within a couple of years, I think they could all be no longer no longer playing
Mm.
for the Devils in that sense. So you have to
These
kind of,
years seem to fly by, and
yeah,
that yeah, like it is weird when all your buddies are growing up. When I played there, I was the only guy with the kid, really. And now I go back, and all the guys I played with are all dads now and all have
yeah.
kids, and there's kids everywhere. And I'm like, well, that means you're not that young in the hockey game anymore.
No, of course. And because they're all like that similar age, they're all going to go around the same time too, right? So we're going to lose that core group kind of
Mm,
almost right around the same year. I mean, obviously they could play. I think Richie might play forever,
I think he
right?
could play forever.
Yeah. So it's, I think the biggest shock though was of course having guys like Kontos come over from like rival teams, because you think,
I
whoa,
don't. I haven't had much time to pay much attention. Is that the guy that came from Nottingham?
yes, exactly. So it's obviously a big change for him too, right? To be involved in that final last year that was like, you win it, no, we win it, no, you win it. Uh, Strange to then switch to the Devils, but he's one of the good guys now. And the same about our new coach who we bumped into at the dinner.
I
Uh,
even took a selfie with him, and we talked kebabs, and he said he was coming on the pod. And then when I reached out to him, he's like, "Oh, I'm heading to Calgary. Maybe that's a good time." And then that didn't fly because I was busy. And then I wrote to him again. I'm like, "Hey, when are we doing this?" And then the blue check marks popped up, and I haven't got a response. And you know what? I get busy and get sidetracked.
mhm,
Um, I need to reach out to him again because he is the coach of the Devils, and
that's right.
I really, I really like him so far. I played against his teams. They were
Yeah.
always good and well coached. But then what I liked about him was he knew about kebabs, but also when we were at that testimonial and Todd got up at the start with the crew we had there, and he said, we have a lot of guys come in and out of the Devils, but these are our guys. This is Cardiff Devils hockey. These guys that are here this weekend. And then after Tomer, I believe they call him, right?
Tomo,
After
yep.
all the speeches and the draft and the dinner part of the weekend, he said to Todd, he said, now I get why you guys won so much. You got all these guys are best friends. And that's what I say about hockey is that when you're playing with your best friends and you'll
Yeah.
do whatever for each other is when you win. And those guys that were there that weekend that all made the effort, paid for their flights, that got there,
Yeah.
that was Cardiff Devils hockey, and that he picked up on that in one night at a dinner. This guy gets it.
Yeah. And when we first hear as a fan, you're probably initially a little bit suspicious or whatever, but as soon as he gave that first interview and he said, "I'm 100% Devils now," I was like, "All right, I'm in. I'm with you, coach."
Well, that's how it works
Open
though.
arms.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's hockey. Is you play for a team and then whether they want you back or they do or they don't, but you don't agree to terms and then you go to a
Mm,
different team, then you are on that team and those are your teammates and
yeah.
it's a new
Especially for him to
season.
come from Steelers, right? And I mean, I know my
Ugh.
boy Mosey. I know my boy Mosey's, former Steeler as well. But you have to just open the arms and say, "All right, man, I trust you. You're one of us now." And I'm not one of these unrealistic fans who says, it has to be, we have to win every trophy every year. Because, spoiler alert, whether they have a great season or a bad season, I'll be there next year. I'll be there the year after that. I'll still be wearing the jersey.
Well,
I
and
have it
that's what
tattooed on
you
my
want.
leg. It's not going anywhere. Um, I would like to see us get pushed around a little less this season.
Well, that's
But again,
part of what you said that, but you might
yeah,
take
of
some
course.
penalties.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
I think that's
there's
part of the deal,
total
though.
there's totally different penalties in hockey. There's the ones that are selfish and don't help the
Yeah.
team at all, and they're at the wrong
Mhm.
time of the game that give them a chance on the power play to even it up or whatever, get back in the game.
Yeah.
And then there's times where it's sticking up for someone where it's like, well, you don't do that to Joey Martin, and if you do it again, this is
That's
going to
right.
happen again.
That's right. There was a game last year where a Coventry player shoved Mr. Benny Davis into the net and ended up his arm was broken. But there was no real like from rebuttal in that
Retaliation.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I know I'm speaking as a fan who doesn't have to get punched in the face, so it's easy for me to say. But you'd think that somebody would have gone, "Hey, man, no, no, no."
Well,
Uh,
and if nobody does that, then they feel like it's okay to do it the next time.
that's right. You got to put a stamp on the bullies.
Yeah.
Um,
You
but
can't be their bitch because once you're their bitch, it's like being in jail. Once you're someone's bitch, you're their bitch,
that's it. You have to hold their pocket every time you go anywhere. It's over for you in that
right?
sense.
I made
Um,
Hendo hold my pocket all weekend.
it was such a wicked weekend. The hockey was, I'll tell you what, one of my favorite hockey things ever is. I don't know how you feel about it as players, but the tennis ball thing,
Mm.
that looks like a blast. They just chuck as many tennis balls as they can. They're just, unbelievable. And I can't believe I missed that the final score was 8-8.
Yeah, I mean, somebody tied it
Wow.
up with 26 seconds left. I mean, I
Not.
did. I actually did it in a real game once when the goalie's standing there
Mhm.
and the top of the knob sticking out, and I'd be by the net. I would chop it so the stick would pop up or out of their hands. I did it to the Coventry goalie when I was playing for Cardiff. I think it was only an exhibition game though. But like
Mhm.
the guy got the puck in the slot, and as he was shooting, I hit the top of his knob, and his stick popped up in the air, and the puck went 5-0. I think it was that he scored.
Mhm.
And the goalie started losing his mind, yelling at the ref, saying like he just hit my stick. Well, nobody saw because there was a guy shooting from the slot. But I did that to Wilsey there at the end of the game. I knocked a stick out of his hands. The puck came to the slot, and then tie game 8-8. And now Joey Martin ends up with the penalty shot, wins it when it was 8-8, and everybody's happy. It's like we didn't script that. It just happened, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes the universe just puts it there for you.
Sometimes all the stars align.
Yeah. And then it's
Mm.
for, and you know what? I got to pick up at the beginning. On my old radio show, I called myself South Wales' favorite Canadian, but I think I have to give that title up, right? It's not me. It's the GOAT, right? Come on.
Well,
Who do I think I am?
I mean, it
I'm a
was
pretender to the throne.
it was a sellout crowd, and I see the
That's
nice
right.
shirt you're wearing, but that um everybody made it back for that. Everybody paid for it on their own dime. That all those guys made the effort because of who Joey Martin is and the teammate he is says a lot. But then when you look around the crowd, there were a couple 2 L's and Hockey Tales jerseys sprinkled in, but
I
for
never
the
miss a one
most
of them.
for the most part, everybody is wearing 88 Martin jerseys in Cardiff, Wales.
Yeah. And deservedly so. I mean, again, as somebody who's only had a fan experience, only ever had positive interactions with that dude, looks you in the eye when he talks to you. He's just everybody says it. No one's got a bad thing to say about him, so it's so well deserved.
Well, they say
And I,
the people, the family that raise you and the people around you make you who you are.
Mhm.
Um, his mom was there, his brothers were there, their families and wives. They were all great people, soaking it
Yeah,
in, seeing what Joey's done. But like his brothers are dandies, his mom was fantastic, and you see where Joey gets it from.
yeah, absolutely. It's yeah, you're right. And the brothers, good players too, right? The other Joey, the other Martins are good players too, boy.
Well, the
Uh,
I got my ties with them. Yeah, but the older brother, his son, what Joey's nephew, played against him in the All Ontario. We played him in the round robin,
right.
squeaked one out, beat them in silver stick by one. Sorry, guys. But then we were gonna play them in the finals because we were both in the semis, and they lost 1-0 to the team we eventually beat in the finals. But the older brother said he's like, I've never played hockey in front of fans. And he'd only played like minor hockey. Well, he fit right
Yeah.
in out there.
Mm,
Shut
yeah.
down D, moved the puck up. And then you
Yeah.
got JJ. I played against him in the Southern Cup finals in Junior B with Thorold versus Elmira. And Joey was there watching us as a young pup and
Mhm.
beat JJ then too. And I'm sorry, guys. You know, I was just trying to get along when we were in Cardiff, and I'm sorry for beating the nephew, the brother. You know, my bad.
You got to go for the W every
Well,
time.
winning's fun.
Winning's fun. And by the way, I've also stolen that from you, but you're not on TikTok, so you wouldn't know. So I've
Mm.
been doing things at games where remember, kids, winning is fun. But if whoever says it to me at the game, I give them a couple of Devils trading cards. So it's fun to be walking through and hear people go, "Winning is fun," and I'm like, "You win some trading cards." I'm like, "Oprah, you get a trading card. You get a trading card." There is something hockey related. Then I'd like to ask you about with your professional experience. So we have a new player that has now officially joined the Devils, Bailey Harewood. Uh,
Yes, I met him
Unbelievable
the last
young
couple
talent.
testimonials. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, and I don't need to keep prefacing this, but obviously, this just from the stands and what we have heard is that over the years, that maybe his attitude isn't right. And I don't know anything factually. I'm just saying that's typically been the reason that he's not signed to a full time Devils contract. He's also young. What is he, like 22 now, if that? So, anyway, my point was going to be that now that he is signed, is there anybody better for him to be around than Joey Martin and that core? Because those are the guys, if there is, it could be completely not correct that it is that way. But if say it
It
were that sort of
sounds to
thing,
me like it's completely inaccurate. Met him at
exactly. So that's
both
first sentence, but yep,
testimonials, and if there was an issue there, if it was about that, those guys wouldn't invite him to his testimonial. They can invite who they want, and they don't
Yep.
have to invite the 22-year-old kid. And
Correct. Yeah.
he's been at the last two.
Hmm.
I've met him and seems like a great guy.
Yep.
And when I see him get out on the ice, he looks like a player. And
Hmm.
I mean, if they can get him signed to a two-way contract, it makes way more sense to me as a hockey player
Hmm.
and as a team, because the Devils are signing players these days and they got a lot of imports. And if you're 22 years old and you're not getting that much ice time, you're not getting that much better. And if he's on a two-way contract and he can go to the lower team and
Hmm.
play a shit ton, then he's going to get better. And then when the Devils do use him, he's going to be better because he's been
Yeah.
getting more ice time in real game situations. And
Correct. Yeah.
I think sometimes the slow game with kids at that age is the right play, because I saw tons of kids in Germany that you sign these young kids and then they sit on the bench all game, and they're not getting better other than in practice, and playing games makes you better.
Yeah.
And sometimes those guys never do find their spot. They never do get power play or penalty kill time because they've been sitting on the bench. How do they prove they can do it unless they go to the lower league and blow it out of the water? And then it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, I'm here and it's time to play me.
Yeah. So he runs amok for Bristol. And it looks like now that he's on a contract where it may still be a two-way, but Devils get first priority at this point, first dibs, I guess it is. And the coaches basically said that it's his to earn, so it's his
Right.
cookie now. And so I mean, we're all into it. As you well know, it caused some controversy last year. Our love for young Bailey, who was on the bench not being played, and our section starts chanting, "We want Bailey,
Well, and
we
that's
want
what's
Bailey."
interesting, because
Mm,
I don't know much and don't pay that much attention because there's enough hockey going on in the world. I can't dive too far into each team. But when the team had been announced and he hadn't been, I do see it on my device that everybody was like, hold on, the team's picked, but that guy's not on it. And
yeah,
then when they announced a two-way contract for him, how many fans were ecstatic about him joining the team? Um, I see that with the other guys, the older guys, the Joey Martins, the Josh Batches, the Bounsies, like what they mean to the fans, it matters. And
yeah,
that kid at a young age has the fans wanting him on the ice.
yeah,
That's a
correct.
big step.
Yeah, absolutely. And he works hard when he's out there. So, but of course it can cause trouble too. So as I said, we're doing this "We Want Bailey" chant because we want to big him up, get him on the ice. And I've told this story on the TikTok channel, but that caught the attention of shed guy Mr. Matt Caruth, who,
Mm-hmm.
come to find out, I believe he thought we were saying "We Want Bouncy," which is not what we were saying. I'm all about booing the refs during the game just for a bit of fun, right? But I would never chant against my boys or against one of our players. The chant was "We Want Bailey." Anyway, so not happy with us. I had to message you and be like, Wally, you got to tell Mac that's not what we were saying. Will you please let Mac know that's not what we were saying? I sent him a DM saying, Mac, we were saying Bailey, man. We're not, we're
Right.
Team Mac. Next game,
Well,
he skated by and
I
gave me a
don't,
thumbs up.
yeah, and I don't know what all went on with that. I've had
It's,
Mac on tons of times.
yeah, yeah,
Um, hell of a goalie, and I really like him.
yeah, yeah.
And now he's in France, so I don't even know what goes on with the Twix now, because I don't know how it ended with the Devils. It
Mm,
seemed strange how it all went down. Um, but I can't worry myself with all the things that go on in hockey. So um, he's in France now. Are they going to throw Twix in France? Like, I don't know. Like,
I
we
hope so.
started when he went to Denmark, they threw over 1,000 Twix on the ice,
Yeah.
then there wasn't as many Twix last season as I was hoping for, and now he's in France. Like, I hope the story's not over. I hope people in France start throwing Twix on the ice.
I mean, I used to play baseball as a young man. I got a pretty good arm, but I don't know if I could get a Twix to France from the Vindico. I don't know if I
Probably
can throw
not.
that far. No, but
No.
I can get those peanut butter cups on the ice.
Well, we haven't really dabbled into France
Oh.
in our history here, talking into my work computer on lunches, but it would be pretty neat if Twixes made their way to France.
Yeah. Well, challenge accepted for the listeners out there. Maybe now that
Well, now that
Matt's
we got
there,
your big name on here, maybe
well,
people in France are gonna listen and
oh,
know to throw Twix on the ice.
I mean, at least 500 followers. I don't want to brag,
Oh,
ridiculous. I see clips from people with like 10 million followers, and I'm here making my videos going, we're on the road to 1,000 and we're going to get to 500 real soon. Yes, good
see,
deal.
I don't do it about any of that. I'm not joining TikTok to get followers. I'm not getting it to have people listen. If people want to listen, they will, and they'll find out about it.
Yep.
My only marketing team is Jake in Manchester, who was nice enough to come all the way to Cardiff to watch my fat ass play hockey again, and got to catch up with him and his family at the game, and that means the world to me. I don't need to do this for followers or for money. When you meet great people, it's what it's all about.
Yeah, yeah, it's tons of fun. For someone who says hello at the Devils game and says, "Oh, I watch you on TikTok." I'm like, "That's really cool." A little fist bump, go about your day. It's wicked. It's good fun. All right, so another hockey-related question, if I may, since we don't have, there was no research team today. So Saturday, Sunday are the first preseason games. Everybody, I imagine, is now here. Training has started.
It's
Uh,
all
what?
happening again, eh?
Yeah, what do you think the vibe's going to be then? So the new guys, the older, they're all coming together now for the first time. First game is on Saturday. What's happening in the minds of players? Are they at that chill point where you get a
No,
little bit downtime first, or is this like the intense part?
I uh I mean, I'm different than hockey players nowadays, I guess. When I played, I took a break in the summer. I didn't play a lot of hockey. I wanted to take a break and then be ready for the new season and be excited. Nowadays, it sounds like they just play hockey all the time, all through the summer. Um, I didn't like doing that. I liked giving it all I got for a season and then hanging up the wheels for a bit and doing the workouts and stuff, which I didn't always like, but it was different. And it made me realize all the shit I had to do to get to play hockey. And then come a new season, you'd be so excited to be on a new team and or have new guys join your team. I would say what's going through their heads is some of the new guys, they might have thought there were big deals coming. They might have been really excited. Then they show up and they're on the fourth line or the third line, or somebody showed up and they get to play with Joey Martin and they're like, oh my God, like they think this of me. They brought me in to play with this guy. Like, I can't wait to play hockey. There's going to be guys that are excited to play because of who they're playing with and where they're slotted. There's going to be guys pissed off and trying to prove a point of where they should be. Um, but then what I remember about it was when I got to Cardiff, Andrew Lord had just been named the player coach. They had finished in ninth place the year before. Um, and we got into those exhibition games, and a couple of his speeches were like, we we are as good as these teams. We aren't getting pushed around by anybody anymore. And he brought in some meat that year. And we went out into those exhibition games and just fought like crazy. There was a lot of fighting and there was a lot of showing each other what we would do for each other
Hmm.
and that we weren't going to get pushed around. And I thought it really helped. It's like fighting an exhibition I mean, it's a thing for a team to show each other what everybody will do for each other and then
Yeah.
show the other teams what they'll do. I
Yeah.
think the game's changed that way, but it shouldn't.
I mean, I've got that vibe as much as I don't like admitting it, but the 2 seasons ago, the Steelers that just run amok on everyone, ran amok on the entire league,
Yes, I
had
recall.
exactly what you were just saying. Those boys on that ice had each other's back. They worked hard for each other. They weren't letting anybody push them around. And as we all know, they dominated. So it was hard to watch as a Cardiff fan, but it's also what you would love to see from your team too, right? And when you get into those even shifts where the boys are like, nope, not today, and they work their asses off, it's unreal to watch. I think it's fourth line last year, like Brent and Dougie, and they're out there just running at 100 miles an hour with so much passion and adrenaline that you feel that they're as proud to be down there as you are to be a fan. Especially Dougie, like those that like we always talk about that core, but like same as Joey Martin, the pride that you get from Dougie when he talks to Devils fans and stuff, like because as much as you want to romanticize it, like it's just a job for you guys at the end of that, right? That's why you say you want to take the summers off. As much as you love hockey and it's part of your life, it's your job and you want to walk away from. I don't want to do my job 365 days a year, right?
No, and
But
like, well, like for me, it was fun going back for the weekend and, rubbing elbows with all the fans and people asking me for my autograph still, which I find funny. But like, it can get tiring. And if you're doing that every weekend all year long, that's
mm,
tiring. But
yeah,
when you get to go back for a weekend, it's fun. But Sam Duggan, I never got to play with him, but the person he is, the guy he is, he's exactly what the Cardiff Devils need on their team. No matter what his role is on the team,
mm,
how much ice time he gets.
yeah,
That's why he's one of the captains and maybe isn't playing that much, but like he is a fantastic dude. And every time I get to go see him, talk to him, it doesn't take long to figure out what people think of a guy when you just hear them talk about him. Dougie, Steven Dixon, all those
yep.
guys that I didn't play with that were there. Sam Jardine, which just made a comeback.
I
Um,
did see that. Yeah.
yeah, he's going back to the coast to the Idaho Steelheads, which is awesome because I saw him out at the testimonial game. The guy still got it, and he should still be playing if he still got it.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
It's
did I
it's
answer your
exciting.
question? I don't even remember what it
I
was.
think so. I think we're just chatting our way through and talking hockey. I'm into it. Uh,
Okay.
I can't wait for the new season. They do play. I think it's a French team on the weekend. Rapacé du Gap. So
Gap.
is there an element when you guys play these teams from, say, like other leagues and things like that during these exhibition games? Is there a bit of it because they're from another league where the boys will be like, who are these guys to come over here to our barn?
Uh,
Let's show them why they're here.
well, there's that. But they're like, I guess when you get into story time, when you've been out of the game for a decade, and people ask you like, "Oh, did you ever play against a team from here or there?" Or how, um, when I was in Germany, it was neat that you got to go to Switzerland and play a team. You got to go to Austria to play a team, and
Yeah.
then you get to see that league, you get to see what it's like. So then players know more for when they're making decisions of where to go, what it's actually like. And I think it is huge for teams to play teams from other countries because you're going to play against the same teams all year long. Why not mix it up and do something different? And then you get that experience, you
Hmm.
get to see what it's like. You get to see what the imports were like. You get to see what the Swiss guys were like, or the Austrians, and
Yep.
or the French guys. I played against some French teams. Um, I yeah, they they were all right. I mean,
Mm.
they were all right. But I think there's some really good teams in that league and maybe some not so good teams, kind of like
Yeah.
every league.
Yeah, and then there's some teams that turn out to be chickens in the Connie Cup, right? They get that whole thing going, and then they don't want to come to Cardiff for their receipts. That's cool. We
Well,
understand. We
I
get it.
don't I don't know about all of it, but I do remember a game and we went to Austria for an exhibition game. Showed up, beautiful place on the mountains, little barn. Old old barn in the mountains. It was awesome. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And like, I would like to play here someday. This is
Hmm.
neat. And then we got into the game and a guy hits me from behind. Um, all the guys on the ice on my team fought him for me, and it hurt. Neck was pretty close. It could have been bad.
Yeah.
But then like that's what you remember, and then you're like, I don't want to play here or with any of these guys.
Right. Yeah. Because yeah, absolutely. We all like the rough and tumble of hockey, but nobody wants anyone to get hurt, and we certainly hope people aren't going out to try to hurt each other.
Well, that's
Uh,
what you'd hope for.
yeah, more than like a punch in the face. But
That
it's
doesn't hurt that much, like it really doesn't.
So I'll take your word for it. If you'd like, I can tell you about the only fight I ever had in my whole life, Wally. Uh,
Go for it.
the only fight we were at a house party, and some people came in Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. A couple of dudes came by, two dudes to beat up one of my friends. And they were bigger than him, and there was two of them and one of him, and I was like, well, I'm not a fighter. I'm kind of a scaredy. I'm definitely weak, but 2-on-1's not right. So I walked up and I said, boys, 2-on-1 ain't gonna happen. It doesn't have to be fair. If it's anything, it's 2-on-2, or pick one of you and it's 1-on-1.
So they're showing
And
up at the front door like, well, let's pull this
well,
guy
they're
out of here.
by this point they're in the backyard already at this girl's house, and everyone's around the pool with a barbecue, and they're coming to beat this dude up. And I was like, it can't. Yeah, it's got to be fair 1-on-1 or whatever. My next memory is me sitting with my feet in the pool with an ice bag on my chin, and me saying to my
Mm,
buddy, "What happened?" He's like, "Oh, we got fucked up." So sorry for cussing. Are we allowed to swear on here? I think we are.
I believe so.
Basically, the only fight I ever had, I got knocked out. There we go.
That's a tough way
But
to
I stood
go.
up for my boy, right? I stood up
Well,
for my boy.
you have to. I've never been in a fight outside of hockey ever in my life. I actually was telling the story the other night to one of my puppies that won with me, and
Mhm.
I've won one hockey fight in my life, like actually won it, and it was a really proud day for me.
Mhm.
It was my rookie year. I'm in Dayton, Ohio. We're playing Toledo in Toledo. It's a 5-on-3. Guy tries to lay on the puck to get a whistle. So I start digging at it. Well, they take exception to that, where it's like, well, it's a 5-on-3. I don't want you covering the puck. I want it and I want to score. So I start digging at the puck. Well, the captain grabs me, holds my arms. The guy I'm digging at stands up and suckers me while the captain holds my arms and punches me right in the face. And it was a good
Classy.
one. And I
Classy.
went to the penalty box and my face was a mess. And it was before I was taking selfies, but there were fans ready to take pictures, and I was like giving thumbs up in the penalty box with my face all messed up, having a good time
Yeah.
playing hockey. And then we played the same team the next day, and I told the coach before the game, who's now the assistant GM of the Leafs, I told him, I'm like, I'm fighting that guy today. And he's like, no, he's like, you'll ask me when you're going to fight him, and you'll do it when I say it's okay. And I'm like, uh, sure. And then the first face off, I'm like, we're fighting now. He's like, no, we're not. And I'm like, oh, come on. So then the next face off I'm beside him, I'm like, we are fighting right now. And he said, fine. And I was so mad about the sucker punch. I dropped my gloves and I would put my head in his armpit like I would try to do with the big fellas. And I would keep skating forwards and punching up so they couldn't like hit me in the head,
Yeah.
It was a
Smart.
defensive move. But I punched him right in the face, like right in the kisser. I even have the photo of my fist hitting him somehow, but he fell down and never played the rest of the game.
You
So
whooped him.
people
You whooped
keep
him.
saying I have muffin mitts. I beg to differ.
There you go. That's right. It sounds like you whooped that boy's ass.
Knocked him out of the game with one
That's
punch.
right. That's right. Skated away, didn't want any more of it. That was it.
Just went and
You know,
sat in the box for my 5 minutes and then
that's
tried to
right.
go back out and run amok.
Yeah, yeah. I always notice the players who they don't often react to the crowd. It's very rare for like a player to like, flick the arms and big up the crowd. Are players told not to rile up the crowd or not to interact with like in that sense during the game, or is it just that it's game time, I'm working now? Because I imagine, like just like Riley Brandt, for example, beat the bricks off of somebody last season. He's in the box. He's just kind of looking forward, and often the camera will be on them. They can see it, but they don't react. Well, this one time he gave us the devil, whatever the devil horns, whatever you call it, and the crowd went crazy. So, are you guys told not to really rile up the crowd, or is it just game time?
I think you're just playing the game, and
Yeah,
what happens happens. I think each guy's different. I I didn't do things to try to rile up the crowd, maybe my teammates, but the crowd is just there to watch.
yeah,
I mean, I guess I did get topless in the crowd to try and rile them up once, but
that's true. But that was sort of not on, not as
I
a
wasn't playing. When
professional
I'm
player.
playing,
Yeah,
I'm focused on playing and I'm focused on my next shift, not if the fans are excited
yeah,
that I'm
yeah.
playing.
But I imagine it does give you one hell of a buzz though when you do get that crowd roar. And the one I always think about is because as a musician, I always notice if we're set up for a gig and then we hear the small, albeit crowd start to arrive, I get kind of excited because we're like behind the curtain or whatever, and you can hear people start to arrive. Must be unreal when you guys are in that locker room and you start to hear the
That's
build up,
the
build up, the
that
music
that that
comes on.
hasn't changed. Yeah,
Yeah,
like that was with the big blue tent when we'd be sitting in there and when we were doing good and running amok, and then nearly won the league, the last few months in that arena, um, we'd be getting ready for the game and you could hear the feet stomping, you could hear the music playing, you could hear
Yeah.
that it was a sold out barn and everybody was there excited for the game that was about to happen. And it
Yeah.
gets you amped up too.
Yeah. I imagine it gives you that extra level if you need it. If it's a day where you're just, you're just, you guys are human. Maybe you're tired, you're sore, you don't really feel like playing hockey that day. But then you hear the crowd and all that, and that sort of maybe gives you that extra jump that you need, maybe.
Well, maybe you're doing your MBA and you got 2 kids and like you've been writing
Right? Yeah.
papers and trying to do all the things, and then you're showing up for a game and you're like, oh boy.
Yeah.
And then that
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah, because I hate seeing the social media comments when it's just like players don't care or this guy doesn't care, and I so often think that like they're just people, man. They're just like you. They went to work today. You perfect at your job every day. Like sometimes I go to work, I have to go to my boss and go, "Oopsie, I made a boo boo." Not perfect, but if that was a sport, social media would be saying he doesn't care about his job. He get rid of his contract. It's I hate all that negativity, and I know it's easy to say, but that you guys are just people working a job. It happens to be an awesome job because you get to play hockey for a living, right? But
But that's the
yeah,
negative part of it. It's
yeah,
sometimes playing hockey as a job isn't fun because you have that outside noise that makes it not fun at all, which makes it
yeah,
not easy to play, which makes it not fun to play, which makes you not that good.
yeah. Because you've mentioned it before. If these players see those comments, which I'm sure some of them do, you think he wants to go out and bust his ass for your team when you've just said that he's awful and he doesn't care? Like again, he's just a human being. He's not going to then, you know,
They might go out there with a chip on their shoulder. They might sulk. You don't know.
yeah, no, you don't.
Every guy is different. But playing free and easy and having fun and enjoying it and loving your teammates is when you play hockey the best.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can see that in the core groups of the Devils too. So that's exciting. I think that's part of why we love watching, because it is part of that. As much as we feel like a family and a group in the crowd in the stands where we all sit together, it feels like it's the same on the ice. It's really a
I find
cool
it
thing.
interesting getting amped up for a new season each time. Like now that I'm into coaching,
Mm,
both of the last 2 seasons, I get into it as much as any coach in hockey, I bet.
yeah,
And when you go through the whole thing, you're like, okay, we're at the finish line. That's done. And then getting amped up or thinking about the new season seems like a tall order. But then as soon as I get around that team and around the ice again, it all comes back to me and I'm ready to go. Um, but yeah, it's amazing how fast the seasons go by when you're out of the game and life is busy.
yeah,
They just keep ticking by, and I'm just
mm,
thankful that the Devils still have so many guys I played with.
yeah. It's very cool,
How
and
many
obviously,
Nottingham Panthers or all these other teams do you think still have guys playing for their team when I played?
yeah. I don't think if any, someone will obviously correct us and tell us, but I don't know of any. And it's really unreal to be able to be part of the Cardiff thing, and it's obviously my team, so I would say that. But the vibe, the atmosphere, that like I say, the family vibe to it all, the fact that you can see players at a signing or they just say hello, they just it's that friendly atmosphere. Whereas if it's a big time team, you can't really do that. If the players are big time, you can't really do that sort of thing. It makes
Like
you feel like it's part of your group too. You're part of the family of the team too.
even like the Kitchener Rangers is just OHL. Like you don't get the kids that go to those games, they don't get a lot of FaceTime with those players. They don't get to
No, of course.
see them much. They just go out and play and then they leave. And Cardiff has a neat thing. I'd say the whole UK league has a neat thing where the players are accessible to fans and make themselves so. Um, and it makes fans more invested in the team, more passionate about being a fan.
Of course.
As long as we could get rid of the ding dongs that say mean things about players, but
Yeah, I guess
it's
you're always
like,
going to get that sort of stuff.
well, like I've watched some Devils games, not many, maybe a handful since I've been done, and they've always been the big ones that were for trophies. And there's some times where I'm watching a game and it's close, and a guy turns it over at the blue line. And I'm like, well, you're not going to win a championship game doing that. That,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden the game changes, and you're like, am I really going to go on social media to write, well, the Devils lost because that guy turned the puck over at the blue line at that moment, at that time of the game. I bet you
Mhm.
that player already knows.
Yeah, of course he
So why do
does.
you have to let him know? Because he already
Yeah,
knows he
yeah.
turned it over. He didn't mean to. It was like when I
No,
was
of
playing the
course.
testimonial and I didn't think Andrew Hotham could skate very well. And then he caught me from behind 3 times and made me turn the puck over at the blue line. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, really
Oops. Yeah.
lost it here. Yeah.
Yeah. You always read that stuff, and it's like no team decides, "Hey guys, you want to lose today?" Yeah, sounds good. It's just,
Yeah. Do
it's
you want to
so
be that guy
frustrating.
that turned it over at the blue line? I don't think so.
No, of course not. You don't want to be the guy who gives up that penalty or whatever it is. It's just you got to root for your team no matter what. I think that's important these days. There's enough
Well, and
crap and
when you,
negativity going on.
it's the same, but it was the same in Coach Eder 13. Like the start of each season, I had to lock it down. It's like hockey's not an easy sport. When you go out on the ice, do you want your teammates talking about what you should have done or what you could have done? Or do you want them just to support you? And it's like if somebody screws up, they screwed up. Shut your mouth on the bench and get ready for your shift. Don't worry about him screwing up. He already knows, and I'll talk to him. You guys don't need to.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. Similar to how I'm a recovering addict in as much as I don't yell shoot anymore. Ever
Right?
since our first conversation, because I was like, "Who you didn't say it in these words, but you were basically like, who are you to yell shoot at these dudes?" And I
Well,
was like, "You're right. You're
if
right."
you roll up on the power play and nobody's standing in front of the goalie, which is one of the biggest parts of hockey I noticed over my time,
Mm,
was I was, you could call me a perimeter player, but most of my goals were around the net, but I wasn't the guy that stood in front of the goalie. When I didn't have a guy that really liked it, that really enjoyed that role, when I roll up on the power play, if there's a guy standing right in front of the goalie, ass cheek sandwiches, and I can't see the goalie's face, then I know it's time to shoot because he doesn't know I'm shooting. If
correct.
that
Yeah.
guy's not standing there, am I going to take a wrist shot at the net while the goalie's just going to stand there, look at it, and catch it like it's a practice? You have to have the guy in front of the net. And
Hmm.
when fans are yelling shoot when there's nobody in front of the net, what's the
Yeah.
point?
Absolutely. And this is going to sound like an incredibly stupid thing to say, but I followed a guy on TikTok who plays recreational hockey, but he wears a camera on his forehead. He must wear like on his helmet or whatever. And boy, does hockey look different when you're not up here, 10 rolls up looking at the whole thing. And now you're down eye level trying to watch the way across. And again, I know that's a stupid thing to say, but
Well,
it
it's
looks way
not though.
different from what you guys see because we're up there. We can see the whole thing. It's like a PlayStation game. Oh, why is that guy out of position? Why wasn't he?
Yeah, because you
So
can
much
only see
different.
what you can see. That's why when I go watch the kids I've coached, I try to go watch all the kids I've coached each year. Um, I stand at the glass so I can see what they see. Because if you go up into the crowd, it all looks way easier. And when you're standing at the glass and puck's dumped in and a defenseman's coming back to get it, I'm like, okay, where are you looking? Are you looking that way? Are you looking that way? Are you figuring out who's open before you pick up this puck?
Mhm.
Because when you're up above, it looks like an easier game. You can see all the plays when it's not you looking out of your eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's similar when people give refs a hard time about a missed call. And it's like, yeah, but we just got to watch it 3 times on the screen up there. And they saw it one time in real time. They had a split-second decision to make. I probably couldn't do any better either. And I'll admit I do love booing the refs sometimes. But for me, it's like a pantomime. As soon as the game's over, it's over. Right.
I
Then
think
it's an applause and
the refs know what they're signed up for when they decide to go ref a game. And there's a home crowd, there's an away crowd, and if you call it against the home crowd, you're probably going to hear it. But they know that, and they're doing the best
yeah,
they can.
of course.
I find it like the UK hockey scene is very strange how much of a family it is. Like doing the podcast and stuff after I was done, I've had numerous refs on, and they like even Lee and Dean, my first time going back to Cardiff, Lee Young and Dean Smith. One of them picked me up from the London airport, drove me halfway to Cardiff. The other one picked me up there and we met there. And then they drove me the rest of the way to Matthew Meyer's house. And I thought, what a world this is that two refs that I
Mhm.
probably mother effed lots and they gave it back to me are now
Yeah.
picking me up from the airport to drive me to Cardiff.
Yeah.
It's a
Hockey just
special
brings it.
special league that you guys have over there in the UK, and I hope everybody appreciates it, you know?
Yeah, I think everybody appreciates it, but not all the time. I think sometimes we forget and we get grumpy because we lost and Sheffield beat us and it's all. But overall, we are extremely lucky to have this thing that we can go to every week. I mean, before the testimonial, we had a barbecue with the people we sit with at their house before we came to the game. That's part of it for us. That's just,
It's your
that's an
hockey
unreal
family.
part of it. Absolutely. Uh, well,
Speaking of those people, we got to bring up
that's
Aaron, who I had
yeah,
on when he was in the hospital and
that's right.
battling things. He is now out and
That's
ready
right.
to start hockey again with a Two L's and Hockey Tails sticker on his helmet and got the logo on the jersey, which I have one of those jerseys now. No big deal.
No big deal.
But he was doing a charity ball
Ball
hockey
hockey.
game.
Yeah, 20th of September he's doing that. Uh I was supposed to
How
play, but
old
we
is
couldn't
he
lock
now?
in the
Like
contract.
18 years old,
Yeah,
and he's
that's right.
running a charity hockey. Like
That's right.
I did it at 41 years old. I had a golf tournament. This kid's doing it at 18. That's pretty
That's right.
impressive.
Yeah, it's unreal. A couple of teams are going to play. I think it's going to be wild. We couldn't lock the contract in, but he's doing it with Daryl Payne, who's also part of the Devils family, one of the game night volunteers. And for these games that are happening, I followed in your footsteps, and I've sponsored Daryl's team, Daryl's jersey. So the Matt Lee's TikTok logo is going to be on a jersey too,
Boom.
because I want to help
Isn't
out. I
that
can't
fun?
be there. That's so much fun. I can't be there because we're away, but I wanted to get involved and help out. But yeah, Aaron was also at the aforementioned barbecue before he went to the game because we all sit in the kind of the same area. His sister's a hoot. She's one of my homies. So it's cool to see that. And you're right. He's doing such an amazing thing for such a young man.
Right.
For such a young man.
Just a good kid.
Absolutely.
Um, and yeah, like it may not take much to sponsor someone with doing something, but there was a Arlo Clark, I believe is the name, a kid that was going to play in the UK Charity All Stars. The dad reached out to me asking if I was willing to sponsor. It wasn't much. I said I would, and then they sent me a picture of. I thought you'd want to see your logo on one more jersey, and there's my Two L's and Hockey Tails logo on a mental health charity jersey, and
Yeah.
that's
It's cool.
fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So I sponsored it and I also threw a bit extra so I could get a jersey because I want the jersey with my logo on it. And Aaron said, "You want your name?" I was like, "No, no, 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 no. I'm
No,
sponsoring the D Man. Give me his name. That's what I want on it. Perfect." So that's
yeah,
going to be a wicked event. I'm just gutted. I'm gutted, as they say here, that I'm away for that. But we'll be rooting for him in spirit. It's going to be a good day. Um, Pretty exciting
it
stuff.
it is exciting. It's like when I had that golf tournament, all the months of preparation and organizing and getting enough people and friends there, and then when it's finally happening, you're like, ah, this is
Yeah,
pretty neat.
absolutely. Well, listen, I'm about to head to the gym because I'm a gym bro now. Uh,
You're
I'm
being
starting to get a bit.
serious?
Yeah, I was starting to get a bit of a spare tire, Wally. You know what I mean?
I
And
know, I
it's
get it.
cool. You can be what you can be. You got to be what you be. But I thought, you know what? I'm gonna put a little bit of work into it. Not trying to look like John Cena. I want to play ball hockey though, with Daryl and Aaron and the guys. But I'm in no such shape at the moment. I don't want
I
to go
can't do
there.
much either.
Well, I don't want to go there, be fat, out of shape, and have them go, "You're awful at ball hockey." When I'm all right, but I need to be in shape first.
So
Prepare me.
that's kind of on my to-do list is I may have to exercise here coming up. I
Yeah.
haven't done it in a decade, and when I go back to Cardiff, people have an idea what's coming.
Mm,
But well, I'm getting flown back to Germany with expenses paid to play in a hockey game in February.
yeah.
And I don't know if they know how far the ship has sailed on my physique. I know they knew what it was like when I played there, but if they're going to do all that for me to go play a hockey game,
Yeah.
I might need to be able to skate better than at Joey's game.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was I caught myself in the mirror first thing in the morning and was like, all right, it's time to have a look at this. What do we got going on here? There's
Mm,
seems to be some malfunction. There's some tech problems. We need to look into this. So it's just, running a couple times a week to get into that shape so I can play some ball hockey, you
well,
know?
like I said, when I used to have to
Mm,
work out, you realize the things you have to do to be able to play well.
yeah.
Um, Hockey's exhausting. When I went back to Joey's, I'm like, wow, can't believe all the things I used to have to do to actually be good at this sport because
Yeah.
I can't get around at all.
It's before we let you get back to your day job.
Yeah.
And before I go to the gym to run. Uh, ugh. It's all right once it gets going, isn't it? It's all right.
You
It's all right.
can just run outside, you know that, right?
Yeah, yeah, but then I'm outside and there's people around and I might trip over something. I might get stung by a bee, you know.
I would run outside every time over a treadmill where you just stand in the same place and do nothing. Like,
I put
go
some
see
live
the
music
world,
on.
man. Go
Yeah,
see the world. Put some
no,
earpods in.
I see the world a lot, you know.
Do you?
But for the build up then on the Matt Lee's Gets Creative TikTok channel, I've been promising for a long time that when I get to 500, I'm going to bring a Devil's Legend on
Oh,
and
Devil's Legend on to what?
onto the TikTok channel. So I know that right now we're on
I don't
two
even know
L's
what
and
that
Hockey Tales.
means.
Well, it's so basically you are the special guest. You are the legend.
Okay.
So for this TikTok channel and for a celebration that we got to 500 followers, thank you very much, everybody. I'm just going to ask you a question that we're going to post on the channel. It's not the kind of question you think
I
it's going
thought
to
we
be.
were doing this after the podcast. We were going to resume and then you ask me whatever you
All
want
right.
for TikTok.
All right. Let's do it that way then. So that's a teaser. The people have to follow me now
Yeah, exactly.
to know that big
I'm
question I was
just
just
doing
going to
this
queue
for
up.
fun still to get to
Yep.
chat with good people, and that's why I
Yep.
wanted to talk to you again today.
Yep.
Um, your TikTok thing is separate than this, so we will do that separate, and then
All right.
people will have to come figure out what this question is and how I answered it.
That's correct. So get over on that TikTok channel if you know what it is. It's Matt Lee's Gets Creative. And for all your Devils content,
Right. And if
what I can
you're
promise is there's no negativity on there. There's no Devils hate on there ever. It's if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. It's just from another. It's from a Devils fanboy. I like to make stupid, funny videos, and this guy is the one that started it all. That's the first video that really blew up was the Garden Gnome. So yeah, follow for that. If you're into
okay,
Devils, you might like it.
well, you're probably wasting all your spare time doing this like I do this. So I guess we still won't have a Two Ales TikTok channel because you're not willing to take it over.
Well, it's not a no. It's just a to be continued. How
Okay,
about that?
that's fine because I'm not doing it. I've seen what my kids are watching on TikTok and I don't support it.
All right. So that means like no water challenges. I can't get you to do any of those sort of stupid TikTok challenges,
I can
dances.
do any of that stuff. I'm just not going to be on there. And I don't know. I think it's kind of funny doing this. And like, I really only use Instagram now, but
Yeah,
how many people listen and follow? It's just fun for me. And I don't want to change why I do this. And I
of
do not
course.
have the time to add another app to my life. I'm trying to get off my phone, not on it.
It's fair. We could work something out. You could just send me videos. I could be the TikTok guy. We could figure it out. We'll
Oh,
figure something out.
see that, guys? We might even have a TikTok channel soon. And don't
Stranger things have
thank
happened.
you for everything you've done for me. You've supported me from the time. I don't know how you ever found out about this, but you buy raffle tickets, you've won jerseys, you made me a goddamn song, which is crazy to think of when you're just a dude working a real job and doing this for fun. And then somebody's nice enough to make you a song that I can't figure out how to put out. Um, and then, we got to know each other having dinner, and then I get to go
Yep,
over to Cardiff because of Joey and see you again.
absolutely.
Yeah, no, like that's hockey. It's fun and it's supposed to be fun. And everything I'm doing with this is fun. And if it's too much, then I just don't have the time for it. And that's TikTok to me. So
Yeah,
I'll
hey,
let you
fair.
do that. And everybody go check out this guy getting creative because he does have some cool videos. The testimonial video was really cool and showed how much fun we all had. And it is neat that nobody else was doing that because, it was like when I sponsored Critch in Manchester. I'm the first podcast in the world that sponsored a pro hockey player and had my
Mhm.
logo on a captain's jersey, and they throw chocolate on the ice after every win. Nobody can take that from me. I don't care what
No,
you say.
absolutely not. And as far as being the music maker guy, I'm proud to be involved. It's nice to be nice, and you're good people. I think I'm good people, so I'm happy to support good people. You know.
I wish that song could be on Spotify, like then I'd have an easy, I wish it was on like the thing that I could play the song when I post stuff on Instagram.
Well, I am a semi-professional musician. I could theoretically release it on Spotify, I think.
And then I could add it to my stories on Instagram. That'd be funny.
Yeah. And then I think technically people could go to iTunes and pay like 99 cents for it. I think that's how it works.
I don't know how it works. I
You
just
leave that
talk.
part to me.
Okay. Well, I just talk to people on my work computer, and now it's time to get back to work, you know?
That's fair. But my
Time to
music
time to
brain,
run amok.
my picky artist brain immediately goes, well, if we're going to put it on Spotify, we got to re-record it with a real band.
Right. Because you
Because
want
I
to take
played
over
all
the
those
world.
I played all those instruments. We need to get some real people in here to do it properly, baby. I'm on the case. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm on the case, everybody.
There we go, folks. And this has been another episode of Two L's and Hockey Tales with Matt the Hitman Lease and Wally.